Hi and hello everybody, it's Fern. Welcome back to another PLANTY video. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be doing part 2 of my Q&A repot because y'all asked for it. I got so many comments requesting that I do a part 2, so I am here to deliver and we are going to continue working through the questions that you asked. I tried to choose topics that are different from the ones we talked about in the last video. So if you haven't seen the last video, I will link it down below, as well as my whole Q&A playlist I will link down below. But yeah, there's definitely more PLANTY questions in this one. There's questions about my mental health. There's questions about book recommendations. So we definitely have some fun things to talk about. And of course, I have selected the plants that we're going to be repotting. But before we dig into all of that, I want to say a huge thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Y'all know I've been wearing Ana Luisa jewelry for the past couple of years now. I literally wear something from them every single day. I'm such a big fan, and I have found a couple of my new favorite pieces. First one, the Lev Bold necklace, and there's also a matching Lev Bold bracelet. Now, what I really love about these pieces is that they are chunkier because I have a couple of necklaces that I always wear and bracelets that I always wear that are a little bit daintier. So I love that these ones are just a little bit more bold. I feel like that really fits with my style, and they come in a two-tone metal option. So we have a mixed metal situation. I'll put close-up clips so you can see these better. But yeah, I'm just really digging them lately. Here's a close-up shot of the bracelet. You can really see the mixed metals here, and I'm also wearing one of my favorite rings from Ana Luisa, which features mixed metal as well. So I love the way that these two look together. And here's a closer look at the necklace. I love the chunky chain so much, and I always appreciate a heart pendant, so I think that I'm going to be wearing this a ton. And all of Ana Luisa's pieces always end up looking so good together. Y'all know one of my favorite pieces from them is my ear cuff that I wear every single day. I love that I didn't have to get another piercing for this one. I can just pop it on and off super easily. It's super high quality and so cute. I continue to partner with Ana Luisa because their product is something that I genuinely love and wear all the time, and I really value that they offer high quality jewelry at an affordable price. They have tons of stunning options. Their pieces stand up to the wear and tear of daily life. I keep mine on all the time, and yeah, I'm just such a huge fan of them. So if you would like to treat yourself or somebody else, I feel like right now Valentine's coming up, you know, I will have them linked down below in the description box. Thank you so much to Ana Luisa for partnering with me on today's video. By the way, thank you so much for all of the love on part 1 of the Q&A. I really appreciate that. Y'all leave me just the kindest comments, and it truly is an honor that you enjoy just listening to me yap. Like, thank you so much. I did just want to give a quick update on one of the plants that we repotted in that part 1 video. This is my, what even is this? The day that I memorize anthurium names will be glorious. This is a blue pap Fort Sherman anthurium from Cartel Down, and in part 1 we potted this up into some mini leca from sphagnum moss, and this leaf was just emerging, so I was a little bit nervous and trying to be gentle with it, but as you can see, it looks absolutely stunning, and this plant is really settling into this setup. So I just had to show you because I couldn't wait until the monthly walkthrough. I just got too excited about it. And you can see some roots really starting to take to the leca as well. So yeah, I just had to show you, especially while this leaf has its beautiful emergent coloring to it. Like, it's just so pretty, and this is the best leaf that I've ever gotten on this anthurium. So very successful repot there, and we are going to be using the mini leca for one plant again today. Actually, I guess I can talk about that one first. We are going to be popping my Begonia malacosticta propagations, which are very rooted. I figure I'll try these in the mini leca, even though I've had 2 failures with Begonia in the mini leca so far. This is going to be attempt number 3, and we're gonna see how it goes. I do have the like mother plant still in the cabinet, so that's why I'm not worried about testing it out. But I am trying to transfer most of my begonias over into semi-hydro because they're just so thirsty. I feel like it is just the best option for them. And then we're going to be repotting my Hoya Lambii silver, which is getting a little crazy here. So I need to affix it to the trellis better as well. But this is a Hoya that is fairly new to my collection. I got it in my last Plant Haven Toronto unboxing. Don't even remember when that was, but since that was like the last Hoya unboxing that I've done, it still feels new to my collection. But it's looking gorgeous. I got this new leaf a few weeks ago and I really, really love this one. I just figure it should get into something a little bit bigger than this tiny pot. Same with this one. This is my Hoya Paradisia. And again, I have it just in such a small pot that it dries out really quickly. And this one's actually been growing lately. It does look crazy because I just put it on this trellis like a few days ago, and there's like parts that I couldn't get on the trellis. Like, it just looks so weird, but it's healthy, it's doing well. It's actually been giving me some really massive leaves lately. So that's cool. But again, I want to get this into a larger sized pot just so that it can not dry out so frequently. And then what's going to be next? Ooh, we actually have a kind of big one. I want to repot my Doriaki red crystal anthurium because it just has crazy roots. And again, it's just, look at that. Like, you're joking. And it's just drying out a lot because, like, look at all of the freaking roots in the pot. It's crazy. I just watered this like yesterday and this feels light as a feather already. And I had to cut off a leaf because it was yellowing. So I think this is just really in need of a repot. And then lastly, I have kind of a random thing of just Hoya carnosa propagations. This is actually my friend's and she gave it to me to save. The plant was kind of fine already, but I was like, sure, I'll grow this back out for you. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And it needs to be repotted because this is just cuttings in water. It has some little baby leaves coming out, which is cute. But yeah, I'm gonna pot this up and then probably grow it out a little bit and then give it back to her. And that is kind of the plan. So I've got my questions here. We will start with, let's start with something easy, maybe the Hoyas. Okay, the first question, what are some steps you would recommend to encourage bigger leaves in monsteras? I have a Deliciosa, High Constellation, and Green on Green who are all happy to pop out one piddly leaf per year with no fenestrations. Yeah, I feel like the Thai Constellation is such a slow growing plant, at least mine is as well. By the way, the propagations are rooting. I will update y'all in the walkthrough that's going to be coming in a couple of weeks, but yeah, things are happening, so that's exciting. I feel like when it comes to Monstera, the most important thing is highlight, which is why I literally have 2 grow lights where the Thai is. I have the Mother Plant Spectrum 32 in front of it, and then I have the Soltech Vita grow bulb above it. In my experience, you really need to blast them, especially Deliciosa types. I would either get them like right up in front of a window or be tackling it with some grow lights. Once you've done that, you can really dial in your fertilizing schedule and make sure that you're keeping it well fed. But there's no point in, you know, pumping in fertilizer if the plant doesn't have enough light. So I feel like that is like number 1 thing. And then number 2, make sure that it's staying well fed. But really, who am I to be giving Monstera advice? Because I mean, I've grown a couple of different Monstera Deliciosa like fairly well, but I don't think I've really accomplished anything that impressive with them. So take my advice with a grain of salt. Okay, I'm actually curious to see the roots on this. So let's just, and again, I just watered this like yesterday maybe, or maybe a couple days ago, and it's already like bone dry. So that's how you know it needs a repot. And this is like stuck in here too. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Yeah, definitely is due. Like, there's a lot of roots in there. Everything looks pretty good though. I have a fresh bag of Molly's Aeroid Mix for this video. In part 1, we got to the bottom of the barrel of the last bag, and I had another one in the basement, thankfully. Oh yeah, also, I forgot to mention, that we now have the hardened off version of this leaf in this video. In part one, it was still very like bronzy colored and soft, and now it's almost entirely hardened off, and it just has that beautiful like oil spill sheen to it. You probably can't see from that far away, but my gosh, it's just spectacular. Love that plant so much. We already know. Also, I saw a comment on part one that was asking about me potting my Hoyas into an aroid mix, which I know this is marketed for aroids, but I've just found that it works really well for my Hoya. They really like a chunky mix. So as long as you can keep up with watering, I feel like it's a really great substrate for them. The next question is, how do you determine if you've fallen out of love with a plant? I've been trying to downsize and it's so hard. What do you do with them when you decide to get rid of them? Yeah, it definitely can be hard. I can relate to that. I feel like I have to do it when the downsizing mood strikes. Like every once in a while, I will just be overwhelmed, or I'll just be like tired of trying to troubleshoot a plant, and I'll just get the urge to yeet them out. And I kind of have to embrace that when it does strike, because the rest of the time I don't want to get rid of any of them because I love all of them. So, but I find that I will be annoyed of a plant for quite a while before I decide to get rid of it. Like I recently got rid of my Anthurium moodianum, which I was complaining about in the last walkthrough video, which is kind of sad, but I was just like tired of not being happy with that plant, and I haven't been happy with that plant for years. And I was like, you know what, I could get rid of that and I could put my beautiful begonia white ice in that prime spot by the window. So why am I hanging on to this one? You know what I mean? And 99% of the time when I get rid of a plant, I don't miss it again. There's the odd time that I miss a plant that I got rid of, but I don't usually. Like, I'm usually just happy to have the stress taken off of me, and I'm happy to focus on other plants that are bringing me more joy. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's usually a plant that's a repeat offender, or I just realize that like I really just am not into this plant anymore. Like I don't really care. I don't feel excited to care for it. I end up putting off plant chores to do with that plant because I'm just not really feeling it anymore. They also asked, what do you do with them when you decide to get rid of them? And it's different for each plant. If it has pests or something like that, then I usually will just compost it, because I'm not giving away a plant that is infested with a pest to someone. But if it's a healthy plant, then sometimes we will just gift it to a friend, usually Shane's friends, because he knows a lot of people. But yeah, I think when it comes to downsizing, it really depends what you have the energy for. Like, do you have the energy to be putting a plant on Facebook Marketplace and dealing with all of the messages and all of people's crap, trying to like figure out when you can meet up? Or are you downsizing because you're so burnt out and you don't have the energy to be dealing with that? Then, you know, I really think that there's no shame in composting a plant. Like, it's literally a plant. I really think that that's like a case-by-case situation based on the plant, based on the person, what you're gonna end up doing with it. But yeah, this one is repotted now, and I guess I'll just use this small trellis for now. I don't know. I don't feel like going and digging up another one, but it will have to be on a taller trellis soon. How do you get inspiration for your fashion style? Do you thrift most of your clothes? I've been loving your outfits lately and I'm obsessed with your style. Thank you so much. I have added a lot of thrifted pieces into my wardrobe over the past year because I've discovered my love of thrifting. So I found some really great things at the thrift. But other than that, I have a couple brands that I shop at, and a few things or like looks that are kind of staples in my wardrobe. Let's start working on this Hoya while I answer this question. So to answer the first part of this question, where do I get inspiration for my fashion style? I feel like my sense of style has embraced like playfulness a lot more than it has in the past. And I feel like being inspired by my lifestyle and the things that surround me and that I'm interested in really play into that as well. I found that when I started gardening more, I was kind of influenced to add more fun. Like I'm literally wearing a flower top today, which would be a good example of it. I love like a fun kind of garden inspired outfit. Overalls are literally one of my staple things that I wear all the time, and that's kind of like influenced by my lifestyle. Like I just feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. It's such a fun, just like casual but playful but utilitarian kind of look. So I really enjoy that. And also I wear a ton of planty clothes, which y'all see me wearing all the time. I wear a lot of stuff from Tropics Narcotics, which is my like houseplant themed clothes, which is obviously influenced by my love of houseplants. So yeah, I think it's fun to kind of be inspired by like my actual day-to-day hobbies and interests. I also am so big on comfort. Like I will not wear something if it is uncomfortable. So I love loose, baggy things, or like this is really soft and comfy. I'm usually, you know, doing things around the house or doing a cozy hobby or like out in the garden. So I am wearing things that I feel comfortable doing the activities that I'm doing in, you know, like I'm wearing sweatpants, I'm wearing baggy jeans, like that type of thing, a baggy t-shirt. So it's all just very derived from an amalgamation of my interests and my day-to-day life. And just adding a little bit more fun and whimsy than I used to gravitate towards, I guess. But yeah, I really want to get into more thrifting and collect more unique pieces that way. Brands that I really love, Lucy and Yak, I have some really cute overalls from them as well as some tops from them. Kina and Tam, which is where the shirt I'm wearing today is from. Tropics Narcotics, y'all already know, I wear their stuff all the time. I recently got a pair of overalls from Vans and a couple pairs of pants from them actually, which is so random because I've never had clothes from them before, but I've been really loving those things. But yeah, I typically try to buy like staples that I'm gonna wear all the time, or like high quality fun pieces like this, or thrifted things. There was another similar question that I figured I would include after that one. It says, hello from Dublin, Fern and Olive. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Absolutely love your videos on both channels. You come across so genuine and fun and relatable. Thank you for sharing so much of your life, the ups and the downs and everything in between. My question is, your personal style in terms of hair, makeup, clothes, etc. seem to have evolved quite a lot over time. You always look fab. Thank you. Was there any reason for this or just gradual changes in preferences? Just curious. Also, how old is Olive? She is such a cutie. Olive is almost 13, which is so crazy. She's turning 13 in April and it makes me emotional. But this question obviously goes hand in hand with the last one because, again, like I mentioned, my style is so influenced by like what my life looks like now and what I find value in, I guess. I feel like I used to follow trends a lot more, and now that I'm well into my 30s, I don't really care about trends. I want to wear what I enjoy wearing, what is comfy to me, what I feel like reflects who I am. And not to say that I'm like never gonna wear something that's trendy, because that's not true, but I'm just way less influenced by what's trendy now that I'm a little bit older, I guess. So I feel like that's a big part of it. Okay, I just grabbed a little dragonfly clip. But yeah, I feel like I used to participate a lot more in fast fashion, and I try to do that less now. This camera has not overheated in a long time, but when I filmed part 1 and now when I'm filming part 2, it's been sunny both days, and I forgot that this is a struggle when it's sunny out. Anywho. Oh, I think I was talking about fast fashion, how I'm trying to participate in it less and be less influenced and like choose things that I want to keep for a long time and that I feel like really reflect me. So yeah, I honestly do think it's just been a natural progression, part of me getting older, figuring out who I am, what I like. And also it's funny because when I think about it, I feel like my wardrobe has become more playful, but my hair and makeup has become less playful, maybe. I mean, it's kind of playful today with my little braids, but in terms of, I used to always have crazy hair colors and was really like expressive and experimental in that way, and I used to, you know, experiment more with my makeup and stuff. And now I just feel like I just don't have the inspiration to be spending my time on those things necessarily. So I have shifted that to my wardrobe because gotta get dressed every day. So that is like an easier way to be whimsical to me in my old age. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I will try to be better about linking the things that I'm wearing in the description box. So yeah, and also the nail colors as well. For a while there, I was linking the nail color I was wearing, and then I kind of fell off of that, but I do get comments about it, so I'll try to be better with filling those details in. Okay, our Hoya lambii is all potted up here. Another easy one. I cannot wait to get another leaf on this one. It does have one that is trying to come in way down here, but I honestly don't know if it will make it. Hasn't made much progress in the past couple of days. Okay, next, let's do this little Hoya. And the next question is, do you ever plan on exploring cozy video games? I just know you would love them if you gave them a go. A great YouTuber to check out if you have any interest in exploring this is Iona. She specializes in cozy and is delightful. When I saw this, I put this YouTuber on my watch later playlist so that I could check them out. But I am definitely interested in cozy video games, and it sounds like, in theory, I'm like, yes, this sounds very up my alley. It sounds very relaxing, like correct vibes, but in practice, I feel like I have so many hobbies on the go that the thought of squeezing in another one, just, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen because I'm already like fighting for my life to keep up with all of my current hobbies. But I love the idea of finding a nice relaxing game to play on Nintendo Switch, and I've had so many suggested to me over the years. Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, which I have played before, like a long time ago. There is that cozy bookshop game that I keep seeing around, which also looks fun. So I feel like all of these cute activities that I would be doing in a game, like gardening or organizing things or decorating a space, I need to do those things in real life. Like, I have a garden outside that needs to be cleaned up. I have books on my shelf that need to be read. I have walls that need to be painted. So I guess maybe if I ever was feeling like I had the time, but right now I just don't really feel like I have the time, or that I'm just choosing to spend my time doing different things, I guess. Oh, I didn't even show you these juicy roots, but they were looking juicy indeed on this Hoya. But I am curious to learn more about some of these games, so I am gonna check out that YouTuber. And I love just watching people's channels when they talk about a cozy topic, so thank you so much for that. Do any of you watch my channel but you don't have plants? Please let me know. I'm very curious. Occasionally I will get a comment from someone saying that they just like watching my videos because they're relaxing even though they don't have plants, which I just think is so interesting. But I also do watch some people's videos where I don't like do the hobby, or at least often I don't do the hobby. Like, I feel like I do that with journaling videos a lot. Like, I'll watch people put together these immaculate journal spreads even though I'm literally not doing that. So let me know if any of y'all are out there just here for the vibes. Okay, here is this Hoya. I kind of want to pop in like a Crimson Queen cutting or something, because this one, I thought it was a Crimson Princess, so I don't know if her plant reverted or something, or just if the cuttings she took were all from like a green vine, but this is just all green. So maybe I will take a cutting from my queen and I can add a little pop of variegation into here. Or from the Wilbur Graves. Ooh, I could do like a mixed pot and give it back to her and it'll be all cute. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, there's this Hoya all potted up. Okay, we're gonna do the Anthurium next. I have this big pot here that we're gonna be using. What else do we have? Oh, the begonia. Okay, I guess I grabbed an extra pot. Anyways, we're gonna do the anthurium next. I'm gonna fill this up a little bit. And the next question is, how did you get into houseplants? Like, what made you go and buy your first one? I feel like some people have a really enchanting story of how they first got into houseplants, or they have family members that were really into houseplants, and I love stories like that. But for me, there wasn't really, well, I know the reason that I got into houseplants, but in terms of my first houseplants, because I had houseplants before I was into houseplants, if you know what I mean. Like, I had Greta, my Marble Queen Pothos, and I loved her. Like, she moved around with me even before I got into houseplants, even when I used to not know anything about plants, but she was thriving, and she would live in my bedroom. I didn't even know that she was a Marble Queen Pothos. She was just like a houseplant as far as I was concerned. So I had that one, and then I had some other random plants over the years. Like, I remember I had a croton at one point, and I had, what else? Let me think and see if I can remember what I actually had. I don't know. I just remember, oh, a Dracaena. I had a Dracaena for a while, and that one did okay. But really, the Pothos was the only one that thrived with my lack of knowledge at the time. But what made me really get into plants was YouTube, essentially. So I have not always been into plants, but I've always been into YouTube, and I've always watched YouTube. So I actually was watching like a beauty influencer back in the day. This is like 2018 probably, and I came across one of the beauty people that I watched posted a houseplant tour, and this was, I think, in the time that Jenna Marbles posted her houseplant tour. So then other people were getting into plants and posting their houseplant tours, and that was just kind of like making the rounds on YouTube at the time. So I was influenced by someone who wasn't a plant YouTuber, but she just posted a video showing all of her plants. And around this time, there's like different things that coincided. So that came up in my feed and I watched it. And I had also moved out to my own place for the first time. And, you know, I was so excited of like how to decorate it and like what I wanted to be in my space. So then I watched that video and I was like, oh my God, like these plants are freaking cool. What the heck? Like they add so much to the space. I just thought it was so interesting to hear all of the different names of them. And it just opened my eyes to a whole world. It like cured my plant blindness essentially, because instead of just seeing houseplants, I was like writing down the names and, you know, creating a list of plants that I wanted to keep my eye out for. So I ended up getting like a, Syndapsis. I got a Syndapsis, and what else did I get in the early days? I remember I rescued a couple from my work. So I had like an African violet. One of my other early plants was an umbrella plant, and I would just dote on these plants. Like there was never enough plant tours for me. I was like, I need more plants. Then I dove into plant YouTube, which was not at that time what it is now. There's way more people creating now, and the style of video is very different now. I feel like back then it was a lot of just like informational videos with like, yes, plant tours as well, but there wasn't a lot of just like laid back like plant vlog, like the kind of content that I make. Not that I was like the pioneer in this type of content, but it just wasn't as like, it just wasn't what it is now, but I was still just entranced, and it was like perfect for me at the time because I was learning a lot about plants. So the informational videos were really helpful to me. There's also a lot of like plant shopping videos were really popular at that time. But of course everyone that I saw making these videos was in the US, so I couldn't get my hands on the same plants. But yeah, and then I started making videos about houseplants, and here we are today. And I feel like that is something that really has shaped my channel into what it is today, is my love of YouTube and like different types of videos. I kind of brought that into making videos about houseplants. I like a more like personal vlog style of video, so I'm very much influenced and like bring in different, like I will see a type of video that is in like the booktube world or you know, whatever else, and kind of bridge that into my channel as well. A lot of my video ideas have been just what I like watching on YouTube, and I just make it work for plants. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how just like being a watcher of YouTube has shaped my channel and my like plant journey so much. Okay, how the heck is this gonna work? Let me see if this is the right, oh, okay, I think I put too much potting mix in. Oh! Okay, let's try that. I'm scared. I'm scared. That was a long-winded story of how I got into houseplants. Basically YouTube and seeing a plant tour video. If I can find the original video that influenced me to become a crazy plant person, I'll link it in the description. I'm honestly like curious to look back on it now. And it wasn't even crazy. It was just like a normal amount of plants for like someone's house, you know? But I was just like enamored by it. Okay, while I'm trying to get this out of the pot, let me answer the next question. What habits are you bringing into the new year to take care of yourself? I love getting ideas about this stuff from fellow homebodies. I feel like one of the major changes or like things that I'm trying to work on is exercising. And in the last video, I talked a little bit about running and how much I'm enjoying that. But I feel like I've just been learning more about how important exercise is for our mental health. And that's like my #1 driver for working out and exercising is my mental health. Like I appreciate that it benefits my physical health as well, but I'm doing it for the brain. Okay, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to cut these off? So yeah, that's one of the major things that like I have not prioritized exercise in the last few years, and now I really am trying to. I listened to the book Burnout, which I think, you know, maybe it's not the perfect book, but I think that it did share some valuable things, and it was talking a lot about how to close the stress cycle or like close the stress loop, how we don't really, like in our day-to-day lives in modern society, we don't really have a way to close it. So the stress just builds up and we're just like constantly in this state of dysregulation and stress. And one of the best ways to close the stress loop is to exercise. So after I listened to that book, it like really hammered home for me. And Shane's been telling me this for so long because he's very like, you know, all about the importance of exercise, and he's like very religious with his exercise routine. I was like telling him, I'm like, oh, guess what my book said is like the key to stopping the stress cycle and da da da. And I was like, exercise. He's like, I know, I've been telling you. So anyways, long story short, I'm really trying to prioritize that for my brain, essentially. I appreciate the physical health benefits as well, but I am like mostly exercising for my mental health. Okay, let's try putting, oh gosh, it's all dumping out. Okay, that's fine. Oh. I can't even tell like where it's stuck. I need to stand up. This is serious. Oh man, yeah, these roots are like so freaking in here. Oh, we have movement. We have movement. Oh my gosh. Actually coming out. Wow. I should have repotted this a while ago. Oh my gosh. The roots look so healthy though. Whoa. Look at that. They're so pink. How pretty. Wow. Okay. Couple broke off, but honestly, not bad. Not too bad. So yeah, that is a big change that I have been trying to make for myself. It's just, yeah, it is a struggle to find time for it sometimes. Like I feel like if I don't get my workout in the mornings, then it's just hard for me to find the motivation later in the day. Oh my gosh, it's so itchy. I can't with when the soil gets in my freaking nose. Other than that, I am trying to disconnect more and have like dedicated not working times more. Like I've talked about that I'm just like really bad with a work-life balance. So I told myself that I was going to take more dedicated time to be offline, but it's just hard for me to do that because I would have to like prep everything, and like I'm just bad at that. But that's also something that I'm trying to get better at. Am I just getting soil all over my face here? Also, just being more gentle with myself. I feel like that's a big thing. Allowing myself to rest and not feeling guilty about it, which is definitely something that I struggle with. Oh, going to therapy, that's probably like one of the biggest things that I'm doing for myself this year, which is a whole thing. And I talk about that on my vlog channel a little bit, if you're interested in hearing more of my mental health rambles. But yeah, those are, I guess, the big things, but I feel like it's just always a work in progress. I'm an avid gardener and houseplant lover, but something about alocasia terrifies me. Are they really difficult, and are they worth the hype? Yes and yes. I do struggle with alocasia. I do. But do I think they're worth the hype? Yes. I feel like they're one of the most like beautiful houseplants and most rewarding houseplants that you can grow. They're just so incredibly striking. And yeah, they can be a pain in the butt. They really can. A lot of my alocasia are just in the cycle of, some of my alocasia are fairly easygoing, like my alocasia Frydek. And what else is pretty easygoing? Dragon scale, it has that funky issue right now, but even the variegated dragon scale, that's been fairly easy for me. But then others are just such a headache, like my Watsoniana, my what else have I struggled with? The Longaloba Silver, for some reason I always end up having to chop that back because something happens to it. I kind of want to get more into alocasia though, because I do really love them, but yeah, I certainly haven't like fully cracked the code on them yet. A lot of y'all comment that they just need a lot of fertilizer, especially when they're stuck in the one leaf club. But then I had this weird issue with my dragon scale where I thought it had fertilizer burn. So I don't know. I don't know what the balance is there that needs to be struck, but I am not striking it. I feel like I've had nothing but a good experience with Frydek though, so if you want to try an alocasia, I would recommend that one. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion, if other people struggle with that one, but for me, I feel like every time I've grown that plant out, maybe I just have one with good genetics, but I just don't really have issues with it. Yes, pests can be an issue, but if you're taking care to like spray it down and stuff, even just with water to prevent anything from happening, then that really goes a long way. But I do think that they're worth growing out. I really do. So don't be scared. Just give them a go and you will be okay. Okay, oh my goodness. We got the biggest one done. How's that looking? Looks a little air pockety, but not too bad. Should be fine. Okay, that one is in a nice big pot now. I'm gonna go water this through. Pick one plant in your collection to immediately triple in size. I feel like I would pick my Alocasia Watsoniana because I really want that one to grow. Like, it's had one leaf its whole life. I just need that Alocasia to grow out for me. What else do I really want to grow big? No, I feel like that's the one I would go with. Yeah, Alocasia Watsoniana, please. If you could only keep 3 cane begonias, which ones would you pick right now? And I've actually been thinking about downsizing my cane begonia collection, so let's actually think about this. I would definitely keep Lucerne because I have big plans for her. I feel like Maculata is just a staple. And then I don't know, I love White Ice, but I probably love Fanny Moser more. But the White Ice has been looking so good lately. Like, it's super pink, which I love. And then there's Thurstonii, which admittedly hasn't been looking good lately, but in the past it's looked amazing. So I don't know, maybe I would have to go with Fanny Moser to have a nice dark one in there. Those 3, Lucerne, Maculata, and Fanny Moser. But those are all like polka dot angel wing. So maybe I'd have to pop Thurstonii in there instead of one of them. I don't know, that's a hard question. And then there's other cane begonias that are more terrarium types, like this one, the Malacosticta and the Chloristicta. Oh, and Sinbad? Oh my gosh. No, there's too many. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, I would have to have Sinbad, Lucerne, and Thurstonii maybe? That might be like a good balance. I don't know. Next question. How do you decide what should be in leca or pon? And then there's another one that I grouped together. Do you have a preferred substrate to plant each genus in? And this is a question that I often get, is like, why did I choose a certain substrate for a certain plant? And it's honestly just preference. Like, most of my plants can be in various substrates. Like, they can be in a soil mix or leca or pon, and it's just based on well, one of the biggest factors that I consider is how thirsty the plant is, which is why, for example, begonias, I'm trying to move them into semi-hydro because I know that when they're in soil, I have a really hard time with keeping up with watering them. But when they're in semi-hydro in a self-watering pot, they can go for a lot longer before I need to top them up with water. So that's a big one. But other than that, I feel like it's just based on my experience. Like, I've noticed that my Hoyas do really well in the Molly Xeroid, so now I often opt for that for them. But most plants can be potted in like any substrate, honestly. It just depends on your watering habits and your conditions and your preferences, you know, and your care routine and stuff. So I try to remember to mention like why I'm choosing a specific substrate for a specific plant. But yeah, and then when it comes to leca versus pon, I just personally have been opting for leca more often because I find it easier to work with in terms of like doing repots and like resanitizing it and everything. I just find pon to be a little bit tedious to remove from the roots. And I also feel like sometimes my pon gets really compacted, whereas leca tends to stay a little bit more airy. There's more like gaps between the pieces. But yeah, it's mostly just trial and error, to be honest with you, at the end of the day. Okay, so for this begonia, we are going to be using another one of my wavy leaf planters, which I am really enjoying so far. Y'all have seen me use these a couple of different times now, and I'm having good luck with them. So I guess I will use the mesh because the mini leca, some of the pieces are kind of small, but we don't need this platform piece. Okay, somebody asked a question about my book club. What book club are you in? I'm assuming they asked this because sometimes I mention on my vlog channel, like, oh, this is the book club pick that I'm reading. They asked what book club are you in? How many people are there? Are you just a member or the founder? How interactive is it? So the book club is part of my Patreon. And it's hosted on Discord. So if you join my Patreon, we have a Discord that is heavily planty, but there's also other like little chat areas. So there's like a general book chat, and then there's a separate one that is for the book club. So every month we select a new book and anybody can suggest the book. And then it's voted on for which one we'll be reading, which is a fun way to do it because it's not like I get to try out things that I wouldn't have picked up. And I found some of my favorite books that way. Like Notes on Execution was one of my top favorite reads of 2025. And that was a book that was not on my radar at all. It was just voted as the pick for the book club. And I don't know if I ever would have read it if it wasn't for that. So I'm grateful for whoever suggested that one. So it is kind of fun how it's like that. It's a very low pressure kind of vibe, and some people will participate 1 month and then skip the next month if they are, you know, busy or they're not feeling the pick or whatever. So it's very just like informal. Whoever wants to participate that month can, and we just share our thoughts about the book while we're reading it. And yeah, it's fun and it's casual, and I really enjoy having that as part of the Patreon. It's just like a fun little extra thing. What is it with these rings? Like is this upside down or something? No. Maybe I just have to push it in really hard. Okay, yeah, you just have to like really get it in. Okay, there we go. Let's stick these cuttings. Oh my gosh, there's so many roots on this. Whoop. Okay, and then there was a couple other Favorite psychological thriller reads. Now, I used to read a lot. I mean, I still do read like some thrillers, but not as much as I used to. But the thing is, a lot of the thrillers that I've read in the past, I've read them so long ago that I'm like, I don't know if I agree with my opinion now that I've read so many books. So I don't know if I would actually recommend them. But a thriller that I absolutely loved and that I went on and on about when I read it a few years ago is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I feel like I've mentioned it in a Q&A in the past, but that's a really good, it's a really like fast-paced, easy to read thriller, but it has like a gothic setting. So I feel like that's a good one, and a lot of people tend to like that one. So I feel like it's a good recommendation. And then, oh yeah, Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. That's another one that I really like by him. When I was first getting back into reading, I was reading a lot of thrillers, and Riley Sager was someone that I was just like going through his books. If you like a sci-fi kind of vibe, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch is really good. Again, like fast-paced, easy to read, easy to get through, and just enjoyable. And more recently, I found a new thriller author that I'm obsessed with, which is Who Is Jennifer McMahon. Now, I need to work my way through her backlist, but I read 2 books by her in December, and they were so good. I feel like her writing just really works for me, and she does have quite a few books, so I'm gonna be reading more from her. But yeah, I feel like, so she's kind of a new to me thriller author that is really working for me. Someone else asked, if you only could recommend one book, what would it be? Just started getting back into books about a month ago. Okay, so based off of the information that I know about you, which is not a lot, but you're watching my channel, so I assumed that you maybe would appreciate books with nature themes. So one that I recommend that is really widely liked by people as well, so I feel like it's a good suggestion, is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. It's like an eco-thriller, kind of, like a literary eco-thriller. It's fast-paced, there's a mystery involved, but it's really well written, and it has a lot of beautiful sentiments about nature, and about plants and about animals, so I feel like a lot of y'all who are watching my channel would really enjoy that book. So that is probably going to be my top recommendation. Some other ones that I thought of that people getting back into reading might enjoy, Where the Crawdads Sing, which I've also talked about that book in the past. Again, it has nature themes, it's a literary thriller, and it's just such a beautiful book. Another one that I don't hear people talk about is Mary Jane, and I didn't write down the author, but I'll have covers on the screen. Mary Jane is just like a fun coming of age story. It takes place, I think, in the 70s, and we're following a 14-year-old girl who comes from a very like conservative religious household, and she takes a summer job nannying for a local doctor. So her mom thinks like, oh, this is a respectable summer job for you, like you can go and work in this doctor's home. But she gets there and it's just like chaos. The family's in complete disarray. There's like mess everywhere, takeout boxes everywhere. These people are living just a completely different lifestyle than what she was brought up with. And they also have this rock star staying with them while he is getting clean and sober. So things are just kind of off the hinges there. And she's exposed to this completely different world, and she's learning about herself, and she's, you know, learning lessons from becoming like almost part of this family that's so different from hers. And it's just such a fun and funny, like I remember cracking up reading it. And I feel like that's a book that a lot of people would enjoy that I don't hear talked about a lot. So that could be a good one. Okay, here's our begonia. I need to go rinse this out into a bowl so that I can dump the water outside because this leca needs to be rinsed off. But yeah, we'll see how this one does in the mini leca. I don't know. Some plants have been loving it, like this anthurium, but the begonias just have been having a hard time taking to it. If you're looking for more of a horror psychological thriller kind of vibe, I highly recommend We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. He's actually a local author to me. He lives in Vancouver, or he's from Vancouver. I think he lives there. But this is like a very twisty, mind-bendy kind of horror, really interactive and fast-paced and just so genuinely creepy and enjoyable to read. It's one of my favorite horrors, so I recommend that if you're looking for a horror book. Anybody out there? And then the last book question, what books do you really want to read but are intimidated by for whatever reason? House of Leaves, which is notoriously an intimidating book because, well, it's chunky, it's huge, and the formatting is so insane in this book. Like, I'll see if I can find some pictures to put on the screen, but things will be written like just in random shapes on the page. Some of the pages you have to like read in a mirror. Like, it's just it's a mind-bending story, but also the way that it's formatted, like physically on the page, like the ink will be different colors and stuff. It's just very bizarre. And because it's such like, I feel like you really have to be locked in to be reading that, like it's an undertaking, but I have a feeling I'm gonna like it. Like, it's the type of horror that I think I'll really enjoy. I'm just so, I don't know, it just seems like such a okay, my battery died, so I took the opportunity to water this one in while I was standing up, so that one is all good to go. But yeah, House of Leaves, just very intimidating. It feels like an undertaking, but I do want to get to it eventually. And then there's also a fantasy called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, I think, by Susanna Clarke, who is the author of one of my top favorite books of all time, Pure Nisi. So I want to read that, but it is like 1,100 pages or something, so I'm just intimidated by it because of the size and because it's a fantasy, because fantasy just intimidates me in general. But yeah, if you're interested in hearing more about my thoughts about books, what I'm reading, my favorite books, I have videos on my vlog channel all about that, and my vlog channel is always linked down in the description, so you can go check it out if you want to hear more about that. I'm gonna answer a few more questions, even though we're done with the plants, just to round everything out. What's your go-to fertilizer routine? So the fertilizer that I have been using on and off for years, is the General Hydroponics Flora series, and I've really gone back to that in like the past year or so because it works for my semi-hydro plants and it also works for my soil plants. You just have to dilute it a little bit more. But I'm almost through some of my bottles of that, so I'm gonna have to either restock or try something new. And I'm definitely tempted to try the Nurture System fertilizer that Kaylee Ellen created, because I hear such good things about it. And that one you can also use with soil or pond, I'm pretty sure. So I might try that out next if I can find it at a Canadian retailer in stock. So we'll see. And then I also use every few weeks for my soil plants, Kelpie, which is a kelp-based fertilizer that my plants really seem to love. So I am still using that. But yeah, we'll see if I end up trying something new soon. Do you like philodendron caramel marble, and will you add it into your collection? You know what? I actually don't really like that plant, which feels like a crime, and I feel like everybody is obsessed with that plant. But something about it, I just don't. First of all, I know I don't have the space for it, like such a wide philodendron. And second of all, I just don't really love the coloring of it. It looks a little muddy to me. I feel like they can be really pretty, and I understand why people love them, but it just isn't to my particular taste. So I don't think I'll be getting one of those. If I was gonna get that shape of philodendron again, I would probably get the golden crocodile, the like lemon lime version of the jungle boogie, or I would just get another jungle boogie or philodendron narrow. Next question. If you could create your perfect plant, what would it look like? Size, color, leaf shape, growth pattern, flowers, etc. Let me think of what features I would want to combine. You know, it'd be cool if there was like a big angel wing type begonia that was velvety, like actually velvety, because I know that there's some begonias that have like a bit of a velvety look to them. Like the Lubercia can look kind of velvety, but like a true, like, I don't know, like a shiny, shimmery, velvety philodendron or anthurium, but as like a big angel wing begonia leaf. I just feel like that'd be so pretty. And then pink flowers with like a dark velvety angel wing begonia leaf. Oh my gosh, that would really do it for me. What's your favorite horror movie? I don't know if I have like well, I really love Talk to Me. That came out a couple of years ago and honestly like scared the crap out of me. Yeah, that was a really good movie. I feel like that movie really put A24 on the radar for me. Like now I have found that I love a lot of A24 movies and I look out for them now. So loved Talk to Me, loved There was a couple that came out actually there was a lot that came out last year that were really good. Bring Her Back, another great A24 Australian horror. Sinners is amazing, highly recommend checking that one out. I really love like sad horror, and Bring Her Back is definitely grief horror. But I love when there's like, or a franchise and they do like a sad movie. So for example, what are those called? A Quiet Place, the Day One or Day Zero or whatever it's called. Is it Day One? I don't know, the sad one. That's like the prequel to that. Came out a couple years ago. Loved that. Loved the 28 Years Later Part 1. I love Part 2 as well, but Part 1 was just like crying my eyes out in the theater, and I loved it. I am always all ears for horror movie recommendations though, so let me know, especially if they do not feature a lot of gore, because I can't handle that. But like psychological horror or like sad horror, that's my favorite. Okay, and then I got a few questions about this. What are your thoughts about The Life of a Showgirl? It came out during your hiatus, so I didn't get to see your reaction. I've not really talked a lot about my thoughts on The Life of a Showgirl, because it is unfortunately my least favorite album that Taylor has put out. I just find it really unrelatable. I find it uninteresting. I feel like it's a shame because she has so many interesting things to be sharing about, but the things that are focused on in that album are just not interesting to me, and I find the lyricism just not up to par in comparison to a lot of her other albums, and yeah, it just really didn't do it for me, unfortunately, which is such a big bummer. But honestly, I don't even care because I'm still in the Tortured Poets era. Like, I am still listening to that album all the time, so it's fine. I guess I'll end up by talking a little bit about my mental health, because I got a couple of questions on that as well. Not as many as I was anticipating, but I do eventually want to do a whole video talking about my experience with severe anxiety and like that flare up and the symptoms that I dealt with, because I still can't believe that I went through that and that I am on the other side of that. Like, it is so just wild to me, and I really have not heard a lot of people go through the same thing, like to that severity. And what I wanted so badly when I was in the thick of that was just to hear from someone else that had gone through that, or just to like have some encouragement that it was going to be okay and that I was going to feel normal again one day. So I really want to eventually put a video out there that can hopefully encourage someone else, that someone else will find when they need it, because that's just really what I wanted. Like, I just wanted some reassurance when I was going through that. So that is like my main motivation to wanting to put out a video about that eventually. Anyways, someone said, I'm worried you'll stop taking your medication now that you're feeling better. Only do that if your doctor recommends that. Are you still feeling better? How is your recovery looking? I think. How does your recovery look? What does your recovery look like going forward? I don't know. I think I get the gist of this though. Am I still feeling better? Yes. I feel better, but I don't know that I feel better than I did before that like crisis. Maybe I do feel a little bit better because I feel like I am managing my stress better. I definitely haven't been like magically cured from mental illness because I'm still anxious a lot. I'm still stressed a lot. I'm still depressed sometimes. I am just hoping to be continually improving. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I really have not been out of that, like what felt like rock bottom, for very long. So I'm just hoping that I'm going to continually improve. I feel like I have learned a lot about myself, and I am like taking the most action that I've ever taken. Like, I put off going to therapy for so many years, and now I am doing that, which is like huge for me. So yeah, I feel like it's just very much still a work in progress. But I'm just so thankful every day to not be where I was in the fall. Okay, I actually think that that's gonna be it, because like I said, I eventually want to make a whole video talking about my mental health experience, and the last question was like getting more specific about that, so I think I'll save that for when I'm gonna talk more about it. But thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you so much for watching these videos, these long and yappy videos. Again, thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. I always love my pieces from them so much. So I will have them linked down below for you to check out. What emoji should we leave for this video? Leave an emoji corresponding to whatever topic resonated with you. You can leave a book emoji, a plant emoji, a clothes emoji, whatever you're feeling. All right, I will chat with you all soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.